do it. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit. And you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. All right, we're in the stream mindset now. Thank you to Shia LaBeouf. Appreciate you. We are going to be working on the left hand today because, again, I want to let my right hand rest a bit so we can actually drum with it again. Starting on maybe Monday. Fingers crossed. We'll see about that. We are going to be working on an exercise. We're going to start with something called Rebound. Demonstrated this a couple times. We'll use it to warm up. So down here under the technique stuff at the link at the top of the screen, you go to Rebound, and just like every one of the play-alongs, you can go into the description. In the timestamps in here, you can jump to a specific BPM. We're just going to do 80 to 84, and we'll use this to get the blood flowing, and then we'll stretch and massage, and then we'll work on that left-hand grind. And today we're going to do it with my ring off. See if it feels a little better. I was modifying my left hand technique a little bit to prevent the click. And I realized that was creating some inconsistencies between my right and left hand. Whew, my hand needs warming up. So we're trying to get just a nice rebound so that the stick is coming off the head or the pad. Okay, now I'm going to put the stick on the outside. Stick is sliding. The one that's vertical. Okay, a couple more reps. Put the stick on the inside. I was off by a measure. Okay, now I'm going to do it at a low volume, just working on tap, and I'm specifically focusing on the wrist bend while doing this. I'm going to do the same thing again, but this time I'll have the stick on the outside and still focusing on wrist bend. Trying to get good volume on these lower notes. Okay, now we're going to stretch and massage. So we're going to take our sticks and we're going to hold them so that the palms are facing up. And you go in like this, you follow like this, and you push out, and yeah, it feels great. Na, 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 na. Ooh-wee. Just kind of hold it here as long as you need to. Might be short, might be long. And then you go out of it the way that you came. Now, if you do traditional grip, rotate and hold it right here. Then rotate it and hold it the other direction. Why, thank you, Caleb. Appreciate it. There's 1,800 hours of drumming content on my website. And yeah, hopefully that's helpful too. Keep you and I busy for quite some time. Now, because I want to let my arm heal, I'm just going to stretch the left arm. Now, this you could do with your pad. You could also do it on the wall. The lower you go, the deeper the stretch, but don't put all your weight into this. We're intentionally trying to stretch the tendons, and this is the thing that I'm trying to let heal because of the big bruise I've got on my arm. So again, we're just kind of gently pulling this back. Not trying to tear anything. Don't want to pop anything. That'd be bad. Don't do that. Gotta have chops for college drumline? Yeah. Depends on what drumline you're in, but I agree. I did a couple years at Arizona State, and then 5 years in drum corps. But then I got into a car accident, so I couldn't march my last 2. So I would have had 7. But now we're gonna stretch the top side of the forearms. So I'm gonna do one at a time. You could do it here. You could do this on your leg. You could do this on the wall. The higher you go, the deeper the stretch. But you want to just get a nice little stretch right there. There's a bunch of chop stuff on my website. There's actually 710 grid variations. And yeah, a new play along releasing every single day on my YouTube channel. So, along with gaming and computer science stuff. Because I'm busy. Now, we are going to stretch the fingers. You could do it 2 at a time like this. Again, I don't want to mess with this hand too much. So I'm just going to stretch 1 finger at a time. So I'm starting with the thumb, gonna work my way to the pinky, and just go through here. I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to actually start drumming again with both hands on Monday. I just really want to be careful with this because the forearm was acting weird over the weekend. Like I was doing aim training on my computer, and like my tendons started to spaz out. I was like, that's not good. Don't want that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to massage here. So the top with the thumb, and underneath I'm going to massage with the fingers. And just kind of working my way through the arm. And depending on how you're feeling, you might need to work your way up to like the bicep, tricep, etc. Maybe even the shoulders. It really kind of depends on how you're doing, like what you did for a workout the day before, or even the morning of, etc. But you want to try and loosen up the muscles, specifically like the chop muscles right here. So when you move your wrist up and down, that's like not flexing or anything. That's just literally moving the wrist. This is the primary muscle that you're using when you're doing match grip. If you're doing traditional grip, then it's going to be more of a rotary muscle, and it's going to be up here in the bicep that you're going to be using. So you can actually get like different size biceps if you mark traditional, which is kind of funny. But anyways, hopefully if you're following along with this, you are doing this on both arms, but I'm just going to do it only on this one. Now for the hands, what I'm going to do is I'm going to massage the palm with the thumb, and then the fingers are going to massage the back side of the hand. Try and get everything nice and relaxed. And this one I feel safe doing on both hands, so I'm going to do it on my right hand as well. Kind of working my way around, trying to find some areas of tightness and whatnot. Trying to get nice and loose. This is also great if you're honestly just like typing too much or writing too much with like a pen or pencil. Like midway through a test, just take a mental break and kind of massage your hands and fingers and get relaxed so you don't have like a cramp. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to massage from the base to the tip of the finger at least 2 times, maybe 3, depending on how the finger is feeling. Might need to do more. Man, my nose gets so itchy in the morning when I do these drum streams. Not when I do the gaming ones. It's mainly when I just do the drumming ones. Weird noses. Who knows? Okay. My right hand feels good, but I haven't, been drumming with it, so that makes sense. But I want to make sure it's nice and relaxed. Ooh, this finger is tighter, so I'm going to do a little bit more on it. And next one. It's interesting. It's tight here on the knuckle. I wonder why. Too much scrolling. Okay. Now that we've done that, now we're going to actually refine the left-hand technique. So again, I marched a few seasons with snare drum, traditional grip. So my left hand, now that I play match grip, does not look like my right hand. So we're going to refine that. So we're going to scroll down past the chop stuff, past the limb independence stuff and the drum charts, and we're going to work on grid variations. There's 300 that are triplet and 410 that are 16th note, but I'm specifically going to work on a one-handed version of Diddle after an accent. I did this as a warm-up, I think, yesterday or the day before, one of those days. Diddle after, and we're going to do normal grid variation. There's also a 1-2-4 variation where it plays it backward, and we're not doing that one. Okay, so we're going to slow this one all the way down. Just like every one of the play-alongs, you can jump to a specific BPM using the timestamps, but we're going to go all the way down to 40. And we're going to refine our technique. Welcome to the grind. Trying to focus on the wrist. Make sure it's bending on the low notes. Whoops. Talking screws me up. Now, today, what I'm going to actually do is jump by 5s instead of going 1 click at a time. Tomorrow, when I work on this, I'm going to do it 1 click at a time and just really sit and refine it. Today is a data gathering day where I'm trying to figure out what do I need to focus on tomorrow When I'm playing slow, how does my technique look and how does it feel? When I'm playing fast, how does that change over time? And ideally, we can find ways to refine it so it does not change as much as it's going to today. Again, using this to guide the stick, make sure that I'm not slicing. Okay. And let's go to 50. Scrolling down and click. Let's try it this time without the stick guiding it. And let's take a look at it to see how it looks. Is this good angle? I think so. Oops. Screwed up. I was too busy focusing on something else rather than what I was playing. Yeah, so I'm making micro adjustments, but one of the things that I'm noticing is that there's kind of like a little bit of an inward slice there at the top. So that's something that I'm going to continue to refine as we work on our left hand this week. Okay, so we're going to go to 55. Click. Here we go. So I'm going to put the stick on the inside because the interior will prevent it from making an inward slice. Okay. So this will help the thing that I just noticed was a problem. Okay, now we're going to go to 60, and we will go to outside with the stick. I want to make sure that it still guides all the way up and down the stick. It doesn't swerve to the interior slice like that. Okay. Sweet. Let's go to 65, and this time we'll do it with this angle. So click, we're at 65. And let's take a look at the slice, or lack of, hopefully. This is a good angle, maybe. Yeah, so where I'm actually seeing the majority of the slice is if my hand is flatter. So if we have a flat grip, more like a Germanic grip versus like the American grip, which is kind of in between Germanic and French, where you have the thumb up. So an in between. So if as I was moving this, just kind of experiment, the slice got worse the flatter I got. So need to make sure that I keep the appropriate hold on the stick. This is not Germanic playing. We're in America. Okay. 70. Ah. Okay. Just focusing on the interior notes, kind of doing some micro adjustments while I was playing. Which I guess that's something I could talk about. Give me a moment to think about it. So if you notice a mistake while you're playing or some of your students are playing, one of the things that I recommend doing is encouraging more micro mistakes in order to improve the macro mistake that they are making. So for instance, if they're having issues with like spacing on their diddle, encourage them to take the two notes and experiment with moving it to slurred open and to closed off or to rushed, and then find that happy medium point. So give the few reps to say, hey, I want you to make some micro adjustments, and it might sound worse while we're doing this. Experiment with how your hands feel, etc. And then we'll come back and we'll try performance and work on it, okay? So this is also great when you're practicing on your own as well. Just like make some micro adjustments to figure out things that you need to change in your technique, etc. when you're playing in order to refine things. You should be making these adjustments throughout your practice sessions, but then obviously when you perform, you want to try and be as consistent as possible with it. Pro tip from a pro gamer. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this at 80 now. Jump in up to a D. And let's take a look at this. This time I'm not going to do micro adjustments. I'm just going to play. Do an instant replay here, so let's do this. Click. Go there, and we're going live. Clicky clack, and stop the sound, and let's back it up. Da 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 da, and now we're gonna watch this at quarter speed. Let's see how this looks. This is the tap off. Just kind of waiting. Instant replay is not so instant, folks. Go. You could do it. Yeah, get nice and relaxed. Loosen up those shoulders. So I was checking to see if the camera angle is okay. It wasn't, so I do a little micro adjustment here. And then I don't focus on the camera at all. Okay, so we're getting good wrist bend. The taps are inconsistent in terms of where they're hitting. They're bouncing around a little bit. More than I would like. I could relax those accents a little bit. I'm tightening up it too much. Just need to stop the stick, that's all. Yeah, so the wrist is bending, which is great. It's not quite, like if I'm looking at the overhead camera right here, it's not as flat as it was. It's still probably flatter than it could be. If I was playing with my right hand, like as double stops, you'd probably see my right hand has got a little more of a tilt to it than my left hand does. Pinky came off a little bit on the stick. And honestly, pinky coming off is more of a visual thing. Unless it comes way off, then it becomes a tightness thing. So you're going to tighten up your tendons and your fingers. But in that instance, it's just giving space to the stick. And it was probably just a micro adjustment in my hand, shifting the stick around a little bit. Because it's not a consistent air right now. Which the consistent airs are the ones that you want to focus on. Those are the ones that you got to sit and work with. If it's just a brain fart, like you just were thinking about, I don't know, what you're having for dinner tonight, then, yeah, don't worry about that. It happens. All right. Let's see what happens when we go faster. Again, too heavy on the accents. I realized that midway through when I was like, oh, need to fix that. Oh, can I just move that? There we go. I think I moved something on Streamlabs. Whoopsies. What was that, 85? Yeah, let's go 90. I don't know what my breaking point is going to be. 200. Just kidding. My stick keeps just sliding. Stop it. I'm not supposed to do that, stick. Bad stick. Okay, let's try 95. By the way, so this is playing flam accents, essentially, just on one hand. It's what your hand does when you're doing flam accents. So this is, once it gets to 95, this is going to be flam accents at 190. Since it's, twice as fast as what I'm currently playing when you put the hands together. If the triplets, that is. Okay, so let's try that 100, and we'll do it with the camera. Did you get it?
I got it.
Good.
I'm extra tired.
Yeah. And here we go. Okay, so this will be 100, and we'll break it down. We'll take a look at the technique, and that'll give us some data for what we're going to refine on tomorrow's streams. Stay tuned. Let's take a look at this. And then we're going to go live here. And pause that. And backward. And we'll break it down. We'll take... Stay tuned. Okay, so let's do this. And I'm curious what it sounds like at 2/4 speed. You won't really hear it very good. Very echoey. A lot of reverb. Alright. We'll get rid of that. Tapping off. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so the interior notes, the taps, are inconsistent with where they're being placed. I mean, at the speed, they're just pretty brisk. But that's something to focus on. There was a little bit of an outward slice on 4 accents ago. Right there. There's another outward slice. That one is straighter. The camera angle is slightly off, but that was still an outward slice. You can see that a little bit better there. Interesting. Yeah, so the 2 accents back to back, I dropped one out there. But yeah, so the interior taps are a little inconsistent. Even the accents are a little inconsistent with where they're at. It's usually when it has a slice, the interior or the bead is hitting on the inside of the head rather than the center, so it's moving towards me. Yeah, okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. So on my website, jaredoleary.com/drum. It's linked at the top of the screen. Again, there's a bunch of chop exercises here. There's a bunch of stuff for limb independence, permutations. There's a bunch of drum kit charts. There's 710 grid variations. All of the prior live streams with timestamps showing you what I worked on in different locations. All the little tips that I share out of this. And a bunch of technique exercises, and then over 100 marching bass permutations and whatnot. If you're curious what kind of sticks I use and books I recommend, if you click on here, then this actually takes you to my /gear page. And this is like a variety of different books for different stuff, like for mallets or for rudimental or timpani, etc. As well as like what kind of pads I'm using. Like there's a pad underneath this pad. I have the large and the small, as well as this is the Off-World Invader. And then these are the sticks I'm using, specifically the Hardeman hammers. They're great for chop building and whatnot. So if you're curious, like what I use, you can use these affiliate links. It's no cost to you. It gives me about 4% back, so it's kind of like a great way to support the content that I create for free, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. But yeah. So today's practice session was to gather some information. So I was going up by 5 clicks at a time. You could also go up by 10 clicks at a time, starting at 40 and then maybe moving up to, let's say, a maximum of like 160 or something. You then figure out what changed from 40 to 160, and that gives you data for what to work on with your technique when you come back the next day and just go up 1 click at a time starting at 40 until you can get all the way back up to 160 and ideally refine things to the point where you fixed whatever the issues were that were changing. Then you could do the same pattern again. You go up 5, 10 clicks at a time and use that as a data gathering to figure out more things to practice, slow, and you slow it back down again. This cycle continues forever and ever as you continue to find more and more things that you can refine with your own playing. Honestly, that's part of the joy of drumming is like it's never good enough. There's always things that you can improve, in my opinion. But hopefully the free exercises and whatnot on my website can help you improve with your own drumming. Remember, it's just jaredoleary.com/drum, or if you go to just jaredoleary.com, you can go to free drum lessons and exercises, and it takes you right here. I don't talk about this much, but it's actually fairly popular from Google search. But if you go to the percussion dictionary page, it's got a bunch of like, if you have a part that's like, well, what is a cascabeles? If you have a part that's calling for that, okay, well that means sleigh bells. If you have a part that says to do, let's see, diluendo, that means dying away, which is similar to diminuendo, etc. So this is something that might be helpful for you if you're trying to figure out what part you're supposed to play, what instrument, or how you're supposed to play it. There's a little dictionary for you. So anyways, I'm going to call it here. Normally I do chop outs and whatnot, but again, I don't want to do that because my right hand, giving it a little bit of a break. I'm going to set up now for some Fortnite, so stay tuned for that in probably about 30 or so minutes. But yeah, if you go here to jaredoleary.com/game, you can find all of my gaming highlights as well as all the prior live streams. If you prefer to stay on my YouTube channel, you can do that. If you just go here on the YouTube channel, and you can find everything under the playlist and on the home screen, all of the drumming, gaming, and computer science education stuff neatly organized, so you don't actually have to go to my website to find all of this. Just click on the header and it'll expand and only show you the drumming stuff, so you don't have to see any of the gaming stuff if you don't want to. But thank you everybody who is stopping by today. Maybe we'll see you in a little bit, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.